Well, I'm going to talk about individual employees, one at a time. Right? As the leader of an organization, you're going to look out at that workforce, and you don't always evaluate them in mass. You also look at them as individuals. And how are they doing and what do they need? Well, one of the things that we often fail to do is to ask them, what do they need? Well, I went to work a few years ago and from various sources came up with a list of things, of skill levels. And that's far too long for me to sit here and read all of it to you, and that would be boring. But I'm going to give you an example of what was in this skill level inventory. All right? It was a personal inventory. Nobody had to do anything with it at all. We just gave it to them. And they could take it home and they could fill it out, and then they could burn it if they wanted to, or they could come back to the office and go to the human resource department and say, look, here's my problems. Here's where I need more training. And then the CEO, the president of the company could say, all right, we have a percent of people who say they need this. We should provide it. I just finished this past year, earlier in this year, working on and doing the numbers and reading and translating and writing the final report of a survey of employees up and down the Fox River Valley of Wisconsin. And what concerned them and what training did they think they need? And then this information then is supplied back to the employers of the Fox River Valley, the New North organization. Right? It was a good idea to do that survey. Every company should do one. Every area should do one. So we know how to improve the skill level of our employees. Some of the things we gave them to ask, I'll just give you a few of them. One, and they had to say, one, if they circled a one, that meant their skill level was wonderful. And then 3, it was just okay. And if they circled a 5, the number 5, it meant, boy, I'm in trouble there. So they had numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They would circle one. Very easy. One of them would say, my ability to evaluate data and organize plans from that data. 1 through 5. Circle one of them. My decision-making skills. My research skills. Right? Everybody can do this themselves. My creative or innovative skills. Right? My self-discipline and my ability to focus. Because you can be taught to improve that. My efficient use of time. My willingness to take a risk and how to analyze a risk before I take it. How are my skills at that? That's actually 2 questions, and we ask it in 2 questions. Are you willing to take a risk? Can you analyze what's going on before you take a risk? Well, how's your ability to resolve conflicts? How's your ability to teach and train other people? What are your persuasion skills? How's your ability to write clearly, concisely, and correctly? How's your ability to speak in front of other people? How's your memory? I went to the shrink and I said, I can't remember anything. And he said, well, when did this start? And I said, what? Humor, okay? We ask, how are your interpersonal skills? How's your ability in developing other people? How's your ability in leading public opinion? You see, there was a lot of those. I think there was about 40 of those things. And as I said, there was no threat and no fear in this questionnaire. It was an opportunity for employees to do a self-assessment. And if they wished, to ask for help. I think it's a very smart thing to do. Now, I'm often asked by learners in my classrooms, what really helps me to get hired? And I say, well, first of all, a college degree. That helps. All right? You need to graduate from here with a good GPA and take a bunch of the right courses that you can talk about. Now, I really don't know many employers other than universities that look at your transcripts. But they do want to know that you graduated. They want to know what other experience you've had. They want to hear what your references say. And anymore, most importantly, it's a network. Did somebody that they know and trust recommend you to them? That's how you get hired. Right? But sometimes people will ask me, how do I get promoted? Or how do I keep from being one of those people that's laid off? Now that's a different set of questions. Your resume and your network and your experiences and your interview, I forgot to mention your interview, and your interview will get you hired. But it won't keep you hired and it won't get you promoted. So what will? Well, number one, the primary thing is your attitude. Now, what's difficult about that when I say it is how do you measure attitude? It's a subjective thing. It's just one of those things that everybody kind of has their own rubric or grid to measure. And you say, I don't like your attitude. Well, what don't you like about it? What am I doing wrong? I don't know, you're just cold, you're not friendly, you're not, right? So people have that. And so it's in your best interest, and I'm telling you, scientific research studies done by Stanford and by Michigan across the country come back and say the number one reason people get promoted or are kept is their attitude. And so you develop this positive, helpful, compassionate, caring attitude. You have a smile for people. You are willing to help people. You say good things about other people. People are glad to see you come into the room. Now, like I say, that is subjective. I have a list here of some 20 things, actually 19 things, that are not so subjective, and they can be measured. These will keep you hired. These will make you valuable to the company. And you want to add value to the company. You will hear that term a lot. So let's talk about some of those. I'm going to take my pen so I can check them off as I go, because I'm not going to do them in order for a reason. You will remember that we talked about motivation. Motivation is an intrinsic passion. You are motivated. Nobody has to make you motivated. And so that motivation keeps you going all the time. People can see it. They can see it in your step. You're not shuffling down the hallway. Right? You're walking with some speed and determination. And it's that attitude. And you can define it. And it's motivation that fuels your attitude. So motivation will add value. You produce, number two, you produce extraordinary results all the time. In any area that you are supposed to work. You just don't sit there and do the minimum amount required to do your job. No. You are producing extraordinary results constantly. People will notice. It will get you promoted. You can do that. Number 3, you can do that anywhere in the organization. You can be moved around. Or they can bring parts of the organization to you. They can bring you problems from a different part, a different division, and you can go to work and solve them or help solve them. I've been in that situation. I've been in the situation where I'm a teacher and they come to me and they say, how can we recruit people for these seminars that we want to give? And I go to work on it and I write a recruiting marketing plan for their seminars. It's not in my teaching contract. So, to add value, you will produce extraordinary results anywhere in the organization and with any work they bring you. And that also means that you can work well with any style of leadership. You can work well with people from different cultures. You accept diversity. Actually, you welcome it. Because from diversity, you are going to learn more. And that's the way you are. And that's part of your attitude. That will help keep you employed. And that will help you get promoted. You are a team player. They can assign you to a group and you can adapt to the team and change your role from being the leader of your own band to being a member of another one and to be an effective team member. And the CEOs notice that. They notice your contribution and your ability to be a team player. You are not a prima donna. You don't have to be considered number one. You don't have to be treated like number one. You don't want people to call you numero uno. You're not, and you never are, a prima donna. You are interested in the success of the company, your teammates, and every employee there. You are interested in the success of others. That will keep you employed. It will get you promoted. And since you're interested in them, you will work constantly at helping others. You will find ways to be an assistant and to assist others who have work to do. You will help them achieve their goals. You will become a role model. People will see you and they will want to work like you and be like you. That will keep you employed. That will get you promoted. The way you present yourself, your charisma, remember? Your charisma, your character, your compassion, your calmness, and also your confidence, your credibility in what you know, and the extra education that you get, and then you share it. And you do it with humor, and you do it with a light heart and a caring heart. That will keep you employed. It will get you promoted. You are looking around you all the time and trying to figure out where you can improve things, where you can make it better, faster, cheaper, where you can improve things. In my classes, we have a saying that goes along with think harder. Well, we have another one. If it's not broken, break it. All right? Woo, that's not what the saying says. The saying says if it's not broken, don't fix it. Wrong. If it's not broken, break it. Because if you don't, you're going to keep doing it the same way over and over and over and over for years. And there are going to be other companies and other people out there inventing new products and new ways of doing things while you're trying to keep selling the old. And so you are constantly looking for ways to improve things. Maybe you won't come up with any, but you won't know if you don't look. So, if it's not broken, break it. Now, I'm not talking about personal relationships or anything. I'm talking about work process. All right? You want to be the kind of person that attracts other people to the organization. They want to be there because you're there. And you say good things about the company. People will come to you and want you to be their mentor. And you will agree. That will keep you employed and get you promoted. You want to inspire other people. You want to show moral courage. In my classes, I ask people, when have you shown moral courage at work? And everybody just kind of sits there, they don't know what to say. I said, have you heard someone use a homophobic slur? Have you said, that's just not right? I don't think you should talk that way. Well, you got that kind of moral courage? Or a racial slur? Have you got that kind of moral courage? If someone suggests a shortcut that's going to diminish the quality of the product, if you got the moral courage to say absolutely no way, and I'll blow a whistle on this? Have you got the moral courage to go above your boss and to report inappropriate behavior by your boss? I've had to do that. I did it. I risked my own job by going over the head of my boss and reporting inappropriate behavior by her. I kept my job. She didn't. So you've got to have moral courage. You got to be committed to the values of the company. And if you don't think you can support one of those values, you should not be working there, because there is a thing called loyalty. And if you cannot be loyal to the company, change jobs. Or try to get them to change that value or that behavior. You want to enhance the company's reputation. When you go out into the community, you want to say good things about your company and about the people you work for and the people you work with. And it will get back to them that you are saying those things in the community. And you know what? That will keep you employed and get you promoted. Be able to analyze situations and take a risk. You won't like to fail, but you will recover. So be willing to take calculated risks. Right? Those risks will make you stand out if they fail and if they win. But they're going to know you tried. That will get you promoted. It will help keep you employed. Failure a lot of times won't, but once or twice won't hurt you if they are good calculated risks. Accept challenges when they're brought to you. Don't be afraid to say, yeah, I'll take that on. I can do that. Get me some help. and I can do that. And finally, push your own personal learning envelope. When you're there, keep learning. Keep going to the university. Keep going to the trade association schools. Keep going to the meetings at the conferences and conventions. Ask your employers, I would like to get that education. I would like to attend that seminar. They are going to note that you are constantly learning and pushing your own personal learning envelope. And then you come back and you share it. All of these things that I just said will help keep you employed and will help you get promoted. There's no guarantees, but I will tell you this, unless you're related to the boss and you don't do any of these things, you won't keep your job and you won't be promoted.